Okay, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for answering me. You know from where I come from, when you talk, people answer. Okay? So good morning. And I just told a friend that it looks like a setup. I don't know why AFRINIC is the first session. You know? All right. I'm glad to be here this morning, and I will just be sharing with you the AFRINIC updates. I call it Roads to Recovery. I wish I can manage this in myself. Okay. Thank you. Are you sure I won't need the help? All right. September last year, September 2025, there was an election into AFRINIC board, and that happened after the first election in June was annulled. The September election, basically is believed to be the most incredible and attracted quite a number of members, probably the largest number of members voted since AFRINIC over 20 years. Okay, so this morning, again, I want to say a big thank you to this community because this community made that to happen. From statistics, the community did a lot to get people to vote. Quite a number of things happened through your advocacy, and that's why we are where we are today, and that's why we can't be talking about AFRINIC. So I want to say a big thank you to this community for the confidence that you have in us. Thank you so much for believing in us. I also want to say to you this morning that the board that you elected is a good board. We have very incredible people on the board, and I'm very happy to work with them. We have very incredible people on the board, like our dear Kala. Kala is there. Kala is a member of this community, and she heads the finance team, the finance committee of the board, doing very, very incredible work. She's one of the people that I call at any point in time, and I have her ears all the time, and she's been very, very supportive. So please help me to say a big thank you to Kala. Okay, so the board, after the election of the board and the board leadership, the board also was able to put together the statutory board committees. And we also had one more committee because of all the litigations that we have. So we had to put together an ad hoc legal committee headed by Ben Roberts. I'm sure quite a number of us will know Ben Roberts. Okay, then before the election happened, the election was an order of the court. Before the election happened, the order of the court has the official receiver to conduct the election and also appoint a CEO. So, an appointment of a CEO is not, it's not something that you can just do very quickly. So the board decided to appoint an interim CEO at the first place. We had several options, either to appoint someone, an external person to be interim CEO, or to pick someone from the staff to be interim CEO. We looked at all these options. And because of quite a number of things that happened within the organization without leadership for over 3 years, there are quite a number of things that people wouldn't see from outside. So if you get somebody from outside, an external person, to go into that organization, we may have more issues. And the board decided that to promote self-healing within the organization, within the staff themselves, to promote self-healing and a lot of questions within them, we decided to appoint a 3-man committee. We call them the Interim Management Committee. So we picked 3 of the senior staff within the organization to manage AFRINIC. So is 3 in 1. So 3 people, combining to take some level of executive decision as the interim management team. We also started the CEO search. The CEO search has, been on for a while, and as a board, we know this is one of the very crucial things that we have to do. If we make a mistake, then we have a bigger problem. So, as much as we know that we need a CEO as soon as possible, we are not in a hurry to make a mistake. However, this process has gone very far, and in the coming weeks, hopefully, in the coming weeks, we should be having a CEO, even if he is not resuming, at least the board should be able to announce a new CEO for AFRINIC, hopefully. For over 3 years, AFRINIC operated without a budget. And you know what it means without a budget? AFRINIC couldn't do in-person capacity building. All our annual meetings were not holding. No investment on infrastructure. We couldn't upgrade our infrastructure. Thanks to staff, some of them are here this morning, they kept the lights on. Even though the machines were gasping for life, they kept it on. Because for 3 years, there was no investment on upgrades. Normal fellowship, NOG fellowships, none of them happened because there was no budget. Some staff left, yet they couldn't be replaced. There was no budget, there was no C-level staff, there was no board. So recruitment was also on hold for about 3 years. And because of that, some departments had left maybe just 1 or 2 staff. So things became very difficult over the years. Then the AFRINIC portal that is popularly known as My AFRINIC, the current one is obsolete. I think 2019, serious work started on My AFRINIC 2, but that also had to stop. There was no C-level staff, there was no board, there was no fund, so that had to stop. But in December, the board, through the finance committee, thanks to Carla again, was able to work with the IMC and the official receiver. The board approved a budget for 2026. Okay, so just a bit about the budget. The first thing the budget looked at was our infrastructure. So a lot of funds this year is going into infrastructure upgrade, especially what we have in our data centers. Also, we are spending quite a bit on capacity building, because one of the things we can't do now as AFRINIC is to give back to the community. So we are spending quite a bit on capacity building. And my AFRINIC 2, the project 2 has started. It has a go-live date of, I think, November this year. So my AFRINIC 2 development 2 is seriously ongoing. We started planning for AGMM, that's the annual general meetings this year, and at some point, the legal team came up and said, look, there is a problem. You can't just do AGMM. What's the problem? In 2022, the AGMM of 2022, members did not approve the audited financial statement for 2021. If that is not done and that is not cleared, you cannot do AGMM. So we started looking at how we are going to do an SGMM, because the Mauritian Company Act says if at any AGMM AFS is not approved, then the board must present that AFS at a special general's meeting. So we had no choice but to put together and convene a special general's meeting. That was done last week, 14th, exactly last week, a week ago. And thanks to this community again. Please a round of applause for this community. Thank you. We got the AFS approved last week, Tuesday, and that paved the way for the AGMM. So the AGMM that is going to happen in June, we are now ready to present the AFS for 2022, 2023, and 2024, including 2025. Okay? I remember when we were about to close the SGMM last week, one member of this community said, look guys, you didn't do something well. And I said, all right, thank you for pointing this out. Please, can you move a motion for us to do it well? Mark, thank you so much. And Mark decided to move the motion, and somebody seconded it. And that was how we ended our SGMM. Thank you, Mark. It's good to have members of this community everywhere, especially when we want to run into trouble. Okay. Again, the board has discovered quite a number of things within the organization. And one of the things that we are looking at is to do some kind of forensic audit. But we may not just go into forensic audit, because forensic audit, the outcome of forensic audit has quite a lot of legal implications. So we are starting with an independent HR audit. We are seeing a lot of lacunas in the human resource in AFRINIC. You know, quite a number of roles, we just feel that we need to align them together and see how we can put the organization on a footing that is very strong. I'll give you a very quick example. Over the years, HR cost of AFRINIC in every budget is most of the time more than 50% of the total budget. And I don't think that is healthy enough, yet we don't have enough staff. Yet we need to increase salary for our staff. So how do we go about this? For the past 4 years, AFRINIC staff had not gotten an increase in their salaries. And yet our budget is, HR cost is already over 50%. So what do we need to do? We need to look at our HR and see how we can best optimize what we have. At the same time, we are launching an independent IT audit just to look at the system generally. Okay, next. Our bylaw, as it is now, happens to be one of the weakest links for anybody to do anything with AFRINIC. So we had several options on how to look at the bylaw. The statutory thing for us to do was probably to just finish having the governance committee and ask the governance committee to look into the bylaw. But because of the kind of review that the board, thought is going to be needed for the bylaw, the board decided to appoint a bylaw review committee with representation from each of the regions. Now, that bylaw review committee is also being chaired by one of the members of this community, Mike Silva. I'm sure, I think in the last few days, I've seen some communication from the bylaw review committee asking for inputs from members of the community. So please, try to get involved in this process. Then we also have some elections to conduct And with that, we have also appointed a nomination committee. We need to appoint the PDP co-chairs. We need to appoint representations into the NROEC and also the governance committee. So these elections will hold during the AGMM in June. It's a long road, not very easy. Actually, it's quite rough. I'm sure some of us on the board didn't know it was going to be this rough. I don't know how many hours I've had to sit down, old men and women at board meetings. At some point, we are having board meetings every week. Now, I think we have reduced it to once in a month, but none of our board meetings takes less than 4 hours because there are so many things to just run through. This is outside the fact that committees must also meet. It's a report of the committees that we consider at the board level. So we are waiting for the Mauritian court to discharge the official receiver. So you need to know that the board does not have the full power. The official receiver is still very much in office, but all the things we have to do in consultation, in collaboration with the official receiver, because it's the one that the court asked to manage that organization. So the board can approve funds. Even if the board approves funds, the receiver must be in agreement. Otherwise, we don't have money to do anything. The same thing with quite a number of things that happens within the organization. However, I think we've been managing pretty well with the official receiver. Actually, the official receiver now currently is in the US attending AFRINIC meeting with one of our directors. So we are trying to integrate the official receiver also into the community, so I understand the community, as we are also looking forward to him being discharged by the court. Okay, I think this is my final slide, so I want to say a very big thank you again to this community. This is the second time I have had to speak within this community in the last 7 months. And I want to tell you that this is the first and only community that I have gone personally, because as a board, we appreciate this community. We have seen all that you do and all that you are doing. And we just want to plead with you that don't give up on us. Don't give up on AFRINIC. AFRINIC will be stable again. AFRINIC will come out stronger than the way it was before. Okay, you can see that's a sign. You can see that the sound came, and I'm not shaking because I've had louder sounds in AFRINIC. Okay, so once again, thank you very much. Like I said earlier, some of our staff are here. If you have any concern, you have any question, member services is here, policy liaison is here, James is here, and Madvi is here. If you have any issue, please, I don't think they have a stand. They don't have a booth, but they're here. Please be very free to reach out to them. And your caller is there. You can harass her anytime. The Hoodman, Laura, is there. Laura is the chair of the remuneration committee of the board. Once again, thank you very much. And I will take any question. Thank you.
Do we have any questions? We have time, so if there are questions for Prof, please. Here we go. Let me bring you a mic.
Thank you, Prof, for this update. It's quite encouraging. I think mine is not like a serious question. I would like to maybe go back to your presentation. I want to know the name of the font that you use. It's so beautiful. That's all.
Okay, question at the back. Would you be able to organise a mic at the back? Sorry. Did I miss somebody? Mic there. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the presentation. My name is Brian Longwe. Currently sitting in Malawi, running a small member of AFRINIC. But I was, together with a number of others here in this room, involved in the team that really worked hard lobbying internationally back in the late 90s, early 2000s to lead and do the work that led to the establishment of AFRINIC. And along the way, of course, things happened, and some really good, some not so good. But there is one issue that I really wanted just to raise and ask you a question about. And this has to do with a construct that was introduced at some point along the way called the AFRINIC Council of Elders. Now, I remember at the time there was a lot of heated debate about the need for this structure, the relevance, this thing that consists of past chairs of AFRINIC that still has sway over the organization. So instead of somebody serving as a chairperson and then stepping aside to allow the organization to continue with fresh and new life, you have, some of this baggage that's been carried. And I think this has been one of the issues or one of the sources of contention or one of the, potholes that have been standing in the way of AFRINIC really being able to move forward properly. And yes, I will be submitting a bylaw proposal to remove that structure altogether. I don't see the point in it. But the question I want to ask is because it's already in the bylaws as we speak, the bylaws have not yet been changed. Does that construct still exist? Does it still influence the board? And do you still have some people pulling strings from behind the scenes and swerving opinion? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your question, this is the day of AI, so I use Gamma. Thank you. Okay, Brian, thank you very much. The structure of Council of Elders still exists because the bylaw has not changed, right? However, personally, I don't have any problem with that structure. In the bylaw, it's very clear. The role of Council of Elders is advisory. Except you decide to bend to what they want to do, they cannot force anything on the organization. Neither on the CEO nor on the board. So it depends on the board or the CEO. I can tell you, for a fact that this current board, the Council of Elders has nothing on us. We've met with them only once, and before we met with them, they sent some questions. All the questions that they sent to us, the things they wanted us to do, as a responsible board, we have done them before they asked us, because they were things that we needed to do. So when we met with them, it was just to greet and that was it. So, please submit for bylaw review, but we need to ensure, personally, I'm saying personally, not on behalf of the board, we need to ensure that there is a structure that will stand in for that organization legally in case we have any crisis like what has happened. Council of Elders did a bit, but they couldn't even go far because the bylaw did not even give them that, leverage for them to stand in for AFRINIC. So at some point, may not be Council of Elders, may be elected people. We may need something, like the office of the administrator that the US has, in case there is any problem at some point. I'm just saying this, personally, because you can't see what will happen in the future, right? Thank you. Any other?
Any other questions? Right. Prof? One more.
I'm Andrew from AfriHost. I'm just curious, lawyers are very expensive, and AFRINIC has had lawyers doing lawyer things for years and years and years. How much has it cost?
You don't want to know? But I tell you, litigation, lawyers, very expensive. AFRINIC has spent in the neighborhood of between 3 and 4 million USD on litigations in the past 3 years. These are things we will discuss at the AGMM. It is expensive, and we are very prudent. In fact, we are still fighting some, but it's very expensive. The people against us, I don't know how many dollars they have spent. They bring counsel from UK, King's Counsel, from UK to Mauritius. So we can't afford to just sit down. Otherwise, AFRINIC will be a thing of the past. Thank you.
All right. Prof, thank you very much. Really appreciated that update. It's a small